Hello and welcome to another episode of So Fly. It's the end of April, and this show's coming out May 1st, so if you are listening to this, you fished trout opener, and I hope it was really good. We're all really looking forward to it. It's coming up, but welcome to the show. My name is Mitch, and we've got, of course, Yellowme here.
Hi, guys.
And Aldo.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
And we've got a couple of really awesome people on the show today, fly fishing fanatics. They're known as Calmwaters Fishing. We've got Jeff and Alyx Park. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like we've been planning this for a little while now, and super stoked to finally sit down and chat.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Where's everybody going for opener? You guys heading out?
Oh, yeah, it's a week away, right? Yeah, so actually, Gab...
week today,
yeah. week today. The fourth member of SoFly is getting married on trout opener.
Oh, I had a cousin that did. I had a cousin that did that, and I've hardly talked to him since.
And I haven't spoken to him since.
Yeah. And that was about 20 years ago, and I had to miss that because every opening day I head up to the Beaver River.
Okay.
And we had a way up from Thornbury, but I got two university buddies that we had up and try to remember our fly poles, and just have a great time. But that's where we're going to be.
I think the Sunday we're all planning to go to the Credit River.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're going to go up to
farther up.
Probably. Yeah. I think. I love the starting at the Grange. I don't know why. I think that was the first spot I ever fished on the Credit when I moved to the Toronto area about 10 years ago. So I've got this romantic thing about opening day on the Grange.
Awesome.
But we'll see what the water levels are like. And,
that's some big fish. Actually, there's been a lot of fish on the Métis right now too.
Nice.
Coming up, but it's pretty churned up still. So
on the mainland,
yeah, on the mainland.
Alex, what are you doing opening day?
I'm moving.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's funny, actually, I live here in Leslieville, but I'm taking the plunge and moving out of the city and moving to Puss Lynch Lake. So I'm going to be a few doors down from my parents, which is super fun. But it's a boathouse.
She didn't say it was super fun the other day.
No, it's actually a boathouse. So it sits right on the water. It's a couple levels, my bed actually is 2 feet from the dock. So really excited to do that. And
that sounds pretty awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Strip a few.
Yeah, the lake is awesome. That's actually kind of where I learned how to fish, was on Puss Lynch Lake.
But where is that?
It's just outside of Guelph.
Okay.
And just off the 401 town line in Cambridge, and it's a lake that's about, and hardly anybody, even in Cambridge, knows that it's there. And it's about 7 miles around and about almost a mile across, and just a cool.
It's actually the largest kettle lake in North America. It's made by glaciers. It's thousands of years old, and it's we've got a lot of folks from the University of Guelph coming and doing a lot of conservation and testing around there because it's just, it's amazing. It's an amazing little landmark there.
Yeah, they got this pretty cool, the swamp in the back.
It's a peat bog.
The back bush. And we call it the Hobbit Woods. But they've got these trees, and they're probably, I don't know how many hundreds of years old, but they're only 4 feet tall. And it's because of the muskeg and how they've been. And so the universities are all coming in, they're checking it out. It's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, what kind of fish are in that lake?
Lots of largemouth. I had a big fish kill probably about 5 years ago, but they're starting to come back a little bit. But lots of pike, crappie, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And there used to be muskie a long time ago, and lots of pickerel or walleye.
Right on.
But no more. But it's a perfect spot for the guiding business, as in not guiding there, but for where, if you got to go down, if you're drifting down to Paris, we're about 35 minutes away. If you got to go, if you're heading up to the tailwater, right up there, up to Fergus, you're 35 minutes away. Maitland's an hour and a half.
Perfect country drive.
It's just,
it's amazing.
It's, the Big Head's not that far away. They're, probably hour and 50. So
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's an awesome area.
Is that where Calmwaters is based out of? I guess, Calmwaters is your guiding company. And then we talk a little bit more about that. When did that start?
It started about 9 years ago.
Okay.
Actually. And I initially started with Ken Collins, who owns Grand River Trout Fitters. Great guy. And always wanted to have my own. So I branched off.
Okay.
And so it's been, I think it's 9 years, 8 or 9 years, I guess, somewhere around there. And to have a drift boat.
Predominantly on the Maitland Grand kind of thing?
Yeah. Realistically, my home water probably would be the Maitland, because I've been wandering the Maitland for forever. And the other river that I've probably been wandering for about 40 some odd years, man, makes me sound old, is the Beaver River. So So
Just to chime in there.
I know, thanks. And so those two rivers and the Big Head. So the Big Head, the Beaver, and the Maitland, I do a lot of steelheading on those three rivers. I get up to Saugeen a lot, head up Walkerton Way, and a lot for the muskie, and a lot for the bigger bass. There's always less bass there, but they're bigger. But there's something about the Maitland that is just phenomenal. It's just got a really cool feel. Yeah. And there's so many guys that I know that have fished it for so long, and they basically say they want their ashes spread on that river. Yeah. That's how spiritual or whatever you want to call it is. It's just because you can steelhead and take say 2 or 3 customers there and not see a soul. You can get away from 21 Bridge, which down at in Goderich, you can get away from there, head way up past Auburn, all different places, and see absolutely nobody and catch just a whack load, or hopefully, or even if you don't, it's such a great day.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny actually. There's quite a few strips where you can find big eagles nests, and you're fully immersed in a completely different world. Yeah. And it really makes fly fishing. Even if you're not catching a fish and you're having a tough day, you really get to see what it's all about through the Maitland River. And it's just so incredibly powerful. I mean, there have been moments where I have slipped and thought, "This is it. I'm a goner." But it's stunning. It really is.
It is. We're lucky, actually, with the rivers we have. You mentioned the Credit, heading up to the Credit. Yeah. That's a beautiful river.
Totally.
I know Graham does the Credit, Graham Bristow, he does the Credit up there quite a bit. And then Ottawa Saga, I don't get up that much up that way. He does a lot of that. But, some of the pictures that I've seen that he shows are awesome.
Credit's an amazing river, man. Like
it really is.
Super lucky because it's not that far from the city either, which is
nuts.
nuts.
Not at all.
Yeah. Like we're downtown and we drive like 40 minutes, like 50 minutes, and we're like on an incredible river. That is like it's just a great trout river.
Yeah.
But the Maitland is an interesting one because like I've never fished it, and some of you might, but the steelhead on that river are amazing. Like I've seen some fish come out of there that are just like nuts, like huge steelhead.
There's some huge. Actually, they've been smaller though. About 15, 20 years ago, you'd catch a good 10, maybe a 12-pound steelhead there.
Oh man!
And a lot of people, when they say, "Well, I got a 10-pound steelhead," it's probably about 8 pounds.
Yeah.
We all think it's bigger, especially when we're holding it and we're all excited. But now there has been some big ones again this last season, which was an awesome season. But most of them are a little bit around 6 pounds, what we've sort of been finding. But where I really saw some of the really bigger steelhead in November was the Big Head this year.
Really?
Because normally they're 4 to 6 pounds bullets, silver bullets. But man, there was some awesome 10. I saw a couple guys, wasn't me, but it had to have been 12 pounds this one. It was just phenomenal.
Oh wow!
So
I fished the Big Head for the first time this year with Chris from the shop. We had actually kind of a hilarious float down the river. I was on the back of his Watermaster. It was pretty funny.
Oh, with Kryzik? Did you? Right on.
Yeah, it's not really meant for 2 people, but whatever. But that was my first time fishing the river. And you're right, it's Alyx. You're right, and it's an incredible river.
That's where you got your first steelhead.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'll never forget it.
Your first steelhead.
My first steelhead was on the Big Head, and it's funny. It's really like smaller boulders, walking around there. So you have to be super, super careful. And it's funny, compared to the Beaver or the Maitland. It's a smaller river, but it looks a little delicate. But holy crap, it's incredibly powerful, and it holds an amazing amount of fish. But yeah, the first steelhead. Actually, I had 2 hits, and the first one just exploded. It completely exploded. I lost it.
It was a perfect steelhead hit where you all you do is stand there and go, "What the f happened there?"
Oh God, are you kidding? I was gonna throw up because I was just so upset that I lost this. But it frightened me. It was so fast. It was amazing. But the second one, just beautiful. Perfect little roll, just coming up, and a little sleepy, I would think. But
you almost damn.
Have you not had one yet?
No.
Well, we'll have to get out.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that matters with me. I get out and still nothing. So
that'll happen.
I think Neil and I are going to try and go tomorrow morning, I think.
Yeah. Respect.
That's cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Big Head. I know we just recorded a trip last night, but
he knows that well.
He knows it up very well up there. And that's definitely a region I want to explore more. So like,
Do it.
Yeah, definitely.
I fully bailed though, coming down a couple banks, just head over heels, ass over tea kettle. Super flattering, but yeah, it's a good one.
Amazing.
So Alex, how are you involved with Calmwaters?
Yeah, actually, this is really the first year that I'm going to be rolling, pretty steadfastly to, working through guiding and
Hence the move, right?
Yeah. So I'll be still working out of Toronto and doing the commute, but I'm moving to obviously be closer to the rivers and being able to work with my father over here and see if we can actually. So the goal. I'm going to be a little technical here, guys, but along with guiding and really building up the women in fly fishing, we gotta have a presence, in Ontario, especially Southern Ontario, with these women and just having some great times together. But I'd really like to see if we can build our business and incorporate it into the tech scene a little bit more and do a lot of corporates that way. A lot of these tech companies in and around Toronto and Kitchener-Waterloo are looking to do fun events. Go off site, do some team building.
Totally.
And Calmwaters actually does so many corporate events.
Yeah, that's sort of our niche. And Ken, back to Ken Collins, he does a lot of corporate also, but I being in the corporate business, and I thought to myself, we got to do this. We got to speak to people and get them get these people off the golf course, entertaining their people on the golf course, and get them on the river. And we do quite a few. We probably do maybe 30 or 40 a year of the corporates.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think more this year, which is kind of cool. But it's just a great way to entertain people, and and the nice thing is, getting back to what Alyx is doing with the ladies, it levels the playing field. So there's no big burly guy hitting a 300-yard drive and young lady hitting something a nice drive of 200 yards, but she feels maybe not as strong or whatever.
Yeah.
But with fly fishing, I would rather have a lady to teach. Like if you got 5 guys and 3 ladies, I'll always be the guys. I'll take the ladies. Because there's so much easier to teach. Because they get the rhythm.
They get it quicker.
They get it. They're not trying to muscle through it.
Yeah.
They understand it a little bit quicker. And it's funny with doing this women's and fly fishing thing also.
What is that about actually?
Well, actually, I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, with the women in fly fishing, it's really just it's going to be an event where 6 to 8 hopefully ladies are going to come out and we're going to do some dry land training and get together.
When is this?
May 12th.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah,
It's May 12th.
It's coming up real fast.
Coming up, and it really is geared for ladies because a lot of women I've found have mentioned to me anyway, and this is not every lady. I shouldn't say that, but a majority of them say, well, I'm on the river with a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a little intimidated, even though they're better casters than probably they are. They still feel a little intimidated. So that's what we're going to do with Alyx, and we're going to present and work how you can feel less intimidated on that river as a lady. And just the whole thought process, getting them casting, getting them hopefully into some fish if we can, but giving them the ability to be able to fly fish by themselves on the river amongst a bunch of guys like us.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, it is intimidating. I mean, as a woman in fly fishing, there are definitely some moments where I think, okay, I'm going to pop up to the Maitland River, and it can be so bare of folks, like Jeff was saying, that it is a little nerve-wracking, to be there by yourself and, making sure I have no idea who's coming where and what's going on. So even selfishly, even for myself, it'd be great just to get some ladies out there who actually just want to engage with nature, even if it's...
I think Olivia shares that, like, we just recorded her 2 days ago. Her episode's going to come out in July, but she said almost exactly the same thing.
Really,
like, I just want some friends who aren't dudes to fish with.
You know what? I gotta meet Olivia. Her feed is absolutely amazing. You would definitely follow her if you can. But it would be absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And this is happening so much in the States right now. You go out west, you go through the States, and they've got, there's, Braided is one of the, top women in fly fishing sites. I think it's down in Colorado. And
April Vokey, right?
April Vokey,
you got Orvis doing that 50-50 on the water thing now too, which is actually kind of funny because I've had a lot of fellows, I shouldn't say a lot, let's say 4 or 5 guys, text me and say, why are you bringing women onto the river? And at this time of age,
really?
What?
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
The one guy said, well, can you explain this 50-50, this Orvis 50-50 on the water thing to me? It sounds very, I don't know, demeaning to men. Like, why are they not including men? And I'm
okay. Now you know how it feels.
right.
It's so weird.
It is weird. I just and so I didn't even.
You're just like, whatever.
I didn't even answer. I mean, what are you going to say? He just wants to argue, and whatever. But that's kind of that's a very small majority, but it's still out there of what guys think about women fly fishing or fishing. They shouldn't be on the rivers or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely. And I think there's also, a pretty, and as you guys know, a pretty large issue in terms of waders, trying to get women into waders. Even myself, I'm thinking, oh God, I don't even think I'm going to be able to fit into, some of these different styles.
which is awesome that Drift now is
carrying
lots of women's stuff.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal.
We're finding that we're hoping that we're like trying to move away from we do carry women's and men's waders, of course. We're just trying to I used to wear women's waders, like when I worked at Green Drake, like when I was
that was a
Oh, that's right. You're
when
at
I was
Green
like
Drake.
17, 18, like
Nice.
I couldn't fit into men's waders. At least the way they were made then, and we didn't have like youth sizes.
Right.
It's just a wader. Like I don't think it has to be men's or women's. It just has to fit a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be made with women in mind. But
That's the good thing about Drift. Like Rob's starting to carry more of that stuff now.
Yeah,
You guys are getting it in the shop.
well, Sims is making like more than one model, which is great.
Yeah.
Patagonia too.
Patagonia.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I can't wait to actually, get these ladies and meet them and just kind of get an understanding of why they want to be there.
For the people that have signed up, like what kind of are they newbies? Are they seasoned anglers? Okay.
So a couple of them are coming from, clients that we have, and either their wives or girlfriends who are just interested, and obviously a little bit nervous to just, go and get on the water there. But, a couple of folks are just really interested and thinking, oh, I'm super new and I want to do something different.
All ages too. I think there's some lady in their 40s, lady in her 50s, some people in their 30s. So
yeah, actually we've got late 20s, 30s. The majority I think is actually in the millennial age range, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I'm definitely going to be spearheading the tech integration and seeing what we can do there. Get some eyesight, and maybe there'll be a fly fishing app coming out sometime soon.
The Calmwaters app.
the Calmwaters app, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is too, the ladies now, the girls now, let's say the millennials or whatever. I mean, they got a lot of money, and they got a lot of power. They got a lot more
Free time.
Or they want to sit around on Saturdays and Sundays and do any whatever. They're more. I find that I guess
eating avocado toast.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you're
They're not scared to spend money.
They're not spending. Yeah, well, your generation seems to really want to get out and try
care about saving
the fly fishing. It's there's I don't know, and they're go getters. Like it's unreal.
So that's actually what I would say is it's a lot more of I don't want to sit at a desk. I want to go outside, and all of a sudden, especially in Toronto area and KW, they're growing up so much, and there's a lot to be said about doing any kind of team building or just self building and getting on the water and changing your mental state.
Yes.
To be completely honest, that's
I can attest to that.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's really part of the reason why I want to just continue doing what I'm doing, because it just makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between just designing and working all day and then
and even
you step out into the river and you design your own life.
Yeah. Well, and back to the mainland. I know I keep talking about the stupid mainland, but it's not stupid. It's fantastic.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. But the summertime is incredible.
Yeah.
And whenever, if I get a chance to get out and I'm not guiding or whatever, cancellation, I just suit up with old running shoes and shorts and I start heading up to the Métis. And if I can bring if Alyx is available, I'll bring her in. Those are probably our best days and memories that we've got lots of good memories as father-daughter, but those are probably our most.
Fishing together? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no problem. So I think Alyx, I'm 8 years old. I got, because she'd be on the dock. And that's funny. When I first started, I was just before university, probably 79. Stop laughing. And I remember there was a fly rod in the shed. And I asked my pop, I said, what's this thing?
Yeah.
And he says, a fly rod. I went, oh, well, how does it work? And he looked at me in disgust. He says, I don't know. And so I picked it up, and so I was screwing around on the dock, and I had this big caddis fly, and dry fly, and it was like a size 6. Like this thing was huge, and it wouldn't go underneath the water. I didn't know it was a dry fly. So I'm trying to get this darn fly underneath the water, and this probably it's 4-pound largemouth bass just kills it.
Nice.
And from that day, I was hooked. I was like, wow. So but the reason
Just so confused.
The hell was that?
I know that's on the end of my ruffle. But that's the reason I was with Alyx when I put a fly rod on her hand, and especially when if there's lots of panfish and that kind of stuff, you don't have to worry about worms and stuff. You just throw on a nice little Hendrickson dry or whatever. Yeah. And she put it in her hand, and instantly she was casting it. Like there was no, I had to bring her arm down a little bit because it was too high, which most people do when they first start. Yeah. But got her within herself, and so basically since about 8 years old, you've been fly fishing.
Yeah, awesome. Practicing it's a lot of fun, right? But the thing is, I've never picked up a spin rod before. I mean, I don't even think I know how to work it. So maybe that's probably the reason why I was able to, just pick it up pretty quickly.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing, to sit and think, oh, this is fun. I don't have to sit and wait, and I can just do my own thing and cast it in all different places. And I actually just picked up a spin rod, probably a couple seasons ago. And, it just changed my life.
I know.
There, I have to hit up
love it.
you guys at Old Drift.
Yeah. Do you are you finding like your clients you kind of do a mix of spay casting you're pretty much opening day to December 31st kind of?
Oh yeah, mostly. And
I mean, last year we were till February.
Yeah. But I find, let's say if we obviously steelhead, and let's take a look at November or whatever, a lot of people have they say like yourself, where they haven't caught a steelhead yet. Geez, I'd love to catch a steelhead. And so they'll bring their single-handed rod, and then I'll teach them how to swing just with that, get some sinking lines on, and, get whatever, a hobo fly on, and see if we can get it. But during that time every day, or when I got people on, I get them casting as spay casting. And once the end of the day and they can spay cast, pretty well everybody wants to spay cast after that. So it doesn't take long to get somebody spay casting. It takes maybe 2 hours, 3 hours at the most, but by the end of the day they're
not just for beginners. You have so I can come in intermediate.
Oh, easily.
And,
we're calling you an intermediate.
Yeah, exactly. And then learn how to spay cast, with a double-handed rod. I can do what are other sort of lessons that you would want to teach, or even is it just requests, or is it or do you have a specific?
A lot of people, I find they want to know about flies. They want to know about the lucky fly, and they want to know, how casting. Of course, people just need to know how to cast a little bit farther. Say a single-handed rod, they know they need to learn how to cast farther. And most people, what I was just saying earlier, is when Alyx had her arm up too far, and your hands always have to meet when you're doing double haul. Right. So if you're one armed, if you're right-handed
double haul,
caster,
what's that?
Double haul?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. But if you're casting it, and obviously nobody can see what I'm doing, but if you're casting it, if you're right-handed, and your right hand is way up here, way up behind you, up very high, very up past your shoulder, your left hand can't meet that.
Right.
And so you have to be down. You got to teach people to keep them down more, where their right hand is more shoulder in around their shoulder. So that way, then you can meet your left hand to your right hand.
Yeah. I still sometimes put something in between my hand and my side, just so that I can stay there. Otherwise, I'm just.
And then it starts, and everybody does it. Even good casters start doing that. But and so there's lots of casting. Getting back to your question, lots of casting. People want to learn better casting, but it's more reading of the water. And I tell people, you can use the best fly of the best, but if you're not putting it in front of the fish, and because most people don't fish where the fish are, and everybody, they got the middle of the pool, and they'll fish that because everybody fishes that middle of that pool. Yeah. But what you'll find, again, if you go and let's say a smallmouth bass, you can catch lots of pound to 2 pound bass, smallies, on a fly. But it's those 5-6 pound, 4.5 brutes that have been living for 15 to maybe 25 years. Those guys are the hard guys, and you got to know where they hang out. And those fish mostly hang out in the back part of pools, right at the end before it starts going up into a nice riffle and heading into another run.
Yeah.
And if you can find any kind of rock formations right at the end, you will find a slew of them.
Yeah.
And so that's where you need to
then get your
really
fly down.
that's where you really need to teach people or show them that it's where the fish are. It's reading the water. That takes forever.
That really is the hard part, right? Especially when you're new to a river.
It really is, especially the mainland. Again, back to the mainland or the Saugeen. You get into a big river like the Saugeen, you look at it and you go, "Oh my gosh, there's such good water everywhere.
Yeah.
Where do I go?"
I know.
And
that's a nice thing, and not to jump in there, but the biggest thing that I've learned is I mean, on the technical side, it's flies, and you want to have some good ones and use the right ones, but when my dad told me that, make sure you're getting back into the rock crevices. They're going to be there. You got to make sure you're moving your fly because it will catch. But it's getting the fly down was the biggest lesson I think I've ever heard, especially for smallies. It's if your fly's not down, they're not going to see it, and people just don't get that. It's hard to put a weight on. It's catching the ground. It's catching it. I'm stuck. How many times I'm stuck? But it's fine because you're going to be stuck on a fish pretty soon. So, definitely one of the biggest tips and lessons that I've personally learned just for
even streamer fishing for big browns. Like
quick and
a
short.
lot of people will fish that just the areas where it's deeper and whatever, but it's the shallow stuff that they hang out in. And I find also when people are fishing, like if you're looking for a 24, 26, 22 inch, those beautiful browns that you see in the Credit or you see on the Grand and some of those rivers that we have, a lot of people don't move that streamer fast enough. That you need to rip that streamer so fast through the system that is probably might trigger them coming out. I mean, if they're ready to eat, they'll eat. But if they're not, if you're not catching anything, you're probably not moving your fly fast enough. Your sex dungeon fast enough, or whatever fly you got. It's
just don't give them an option. Don't even give them the option to think about it. Oh, what's that? Just got it fast enough that they're just going to dart.
Rip it through, and that's almost like for saltwater for big Jack Crevalles and that kind of a thing. If you think you're ripping that Clouser minnow fast enough, you're not probably. You really, because these things are so fast. When they start coming at your fly, you can't believe how quickly these fish move. And even a brown trout or a big steelhead, these things can move like 90.
Especially when they want to, right?
Yeah, when they want to, it's unreal. So
the hunters, they want to hunt. They want that. Yeah,
they want to hunt. So so it's cool. There are lots of different flies though too that you can. Where I have this one fly. Sorry, am I babbling?
Not at all. No, it's great. It's perfect.
Great.
I have this one fly. I call him Luigi.
We're not saying anything because we're like
this is perfect.
making note. I'm like,
this is what we want.
What was that one? What was that one fly?
Depth again.
I'm like taking notes over here.
But I have this one fly. I call him Luigi. And Luigi,
I like it already.
Yeah, Luigi's awesome. And I showed Rob at Drift Outfitters. He's he's Italian, so I had to show him Luigi.
Me too.
All right. And he's looking at it going, "Oh yeah, hey Jeff, that's your fly. That's your secret fly." And this fly is pretty cool. And the reason I call it Luigi is that I got it. It was on Instagram with Italian fly company.
Yeah.
And they posted this. I was in Florida, and they posted this one picture of this fly, and it was a kind of a streamer looking fly. And I looked at it, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And as I said, I was in Florida, so I tied a couple, but I didn't have any green marabou. I had like maybe one strand of green marabou, so I put 5 or 6 little fibers on the tail.
Yeah.
And I kind of changed it up a little bit. It's on a size 6, so it's maybe an inch and a half at the most, and I threw it out, and in the middle of the day I caught 3 snook on it, and you don't usually catch snook in the middle of the day in the canals.
Yeah.
And I went, well, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so I brought it back here thinking for smallmouth bass it's going to just rock.
Yeah.
And to this day I still haven't caught one on it. I haven't caught any smallmouth bass on it. But in the saltwater it is my snook fly. It's my favorite snook fly, but I have caught, or my clients have hooked quite a few steelhead on this thing. Oh. They've hooked, it's a lot of rainbow trout, I'll say up the Beaver Way and that whatever. But it's for Fergus. It is absolutely awesome, and it's not a fly that you use when you're getting hits.
Yeah.
It's a fly that, like, say, you know how you get out and you're not catching anything.
Yeah.
And you look down the river and you see, man, nobody's catching anything either. And you got one of those days that you got nothing.
Yeah.
That's when you bring out Luigi. Because Luigi, for some reason, will trigger a follow, trigger a hit.
What's the pattern? Like, what is?
It's like a streamer nymph.
You tied a sponge, right? You're giving us a sponge.
It's a streamer style nymph.
Yeah.
So I use it for nymphing for the steelhead.
Mm-hmm.
I have caught some on swinging, but it's more of a streamer fishing. You fish it so fast through the column. It's got a cone head, and I'll show it to you sometime.
Yes.
It's an awesome. It's saved my day.
I have a lot of those days, right? Yeah, where I'm
You
like,
do.
especially Fergus, where I'm like,
Fergus is brutal
I just
sometimes.
wear the
Sometimes
fish.
Fergus can be,
And so if there's a fly, I can just put it on. It's like, here we go.
It's the one that gets when nothing's working.
Yeah.
Luigi's the one, and
Right on.
it's kind of. So I'll show that to you sometime. I know.
I think people are coming around to like we're seeing like in the shop like people getting really excited about chucking streamers for trout. I think that whole like I like dry fly fishing and I love nymphing like in Euro style nymphing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That really once I was introduced to that I really started enjoying it. But I love streamer fishing too, and even on the credit. Or the Grand, it's such a productive way to fish, and it's fun, and you're using like really big patterns. I mean, like I think the popularity of like people like Kelly Gallopin have really thrown it into the spotlight. But we're finding at the shop more and more people like they name drop Kelly Gallop, but also they're like
Nick Groves also.
Or Nick Groves,
Nick is awesome.
Yeah, Nick is awesome, and people are like excited about like taking a streamer to the credit as opposed to or like going to Fergus instead of like I'm gonna bring my elk hair caddis. They're bringing a streamer.
They're bringing a streamer.
They're bringing streamer boxes.
The thing is though, streamer fishing is awesome and everybody loves to get that hit, but it is size 16 pheasant tail, beathead pheasant tail. Man, that
boom! I know
the old school. Stuff.
That's pheasant tails are my
100%.
favorite.
Yeah,
pheasant tails are like a Frenchie or something like that. Is like
Frenchies.
That's small and brown.
Copper midge.
What is small and brown
Yeah.
in the river?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It works everywhere.
Did you catch our Father's Day brownie on a streamer?
No, that was on
Should we tell that story?
Why don't you tell that story? So I'll start it out. We were right down at Snakey's, just below Tombstone.
Yeah.
And so it was Father's Day. So obviously that was my lovely daughter having fun. And actually it was just a caddis emerger, and it was right at the bank, right towards the homes. It was like it actually hit the bank, came off the bank into the water, and within probably 3 seconds I had this. It had to have been a 24-inch, and it was just
beautiful.
fighting like a storm. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So and again, that's the thing where a lot of people everybody's at the columns or in the middle of part of the river, but the edges is where the browns love to, because they know the bugs are falling off into the water,
Right, yeah.
and or crawling up out of the water into some of the rocks. But anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, good times actually. And right before that, I had just a beautiful brown on and lost it, and that was another moment where I was going to throw up because it's
I think
just
every
so
bird was
upsetting.
scattered with the F word when she.
So it's funny, he's got this beautiful fish on the line, and probably a good 10-minute fight, eh?
It was
like
a
at
beauty.
least, just killing her, right? Emerging, being just a perfect fight. And I'm grabbing the net it. Alyx, get over here, net it. And I'm like, okay, shit, fine, okay. Trying to net this thing, and I miss it once, not twice. But I missed that bad boy, and it flew itself off, and it was gone, and
Worst
all of a sudden,
Father's Day ever.
I got just a slow look at me to the left.
Oh,
Worst Father's Day ever.
That's
And I was
exactly
like,
what I said to her. Worst Father's Day ever.
But the good thing here is I did snap a pic of it coming out of the water, which is great. So we got the picture, but man, he was just not happy. It took about a year for you to get over that, actually.
Awesome.
Quiet
Good
car
year.
ride home.
Okay. That was really fun, but it was It
was a good fight, though.
Well, and actually that's a good point. That probably you look at a guide, and one of my most stressful moments of ever being a guide, it's not of 'cause you learn that some days you can't get somebody a fish.
Yeah.
It's just fishing, that stupid thing, it's not catching,
Totally.
it's fishing. But it just happens. You will get skunked. And that's one of the hard things to learn as a guide, a new guide. If you get skunked as a new guide, you're almost crying in the fetal position for 2 days because you feel so bad. Because there's one guy, if you have a good guide, there's one guide or one guy on the river that wants you to catch a fish more than anybody else, and that's your guide. And if you have a good guide. And but where I find, especially with guys with steelhead, and maybe like say if you caught your first steelhead and you've got it, and I'm on the end with the net, that's the most stressful part right there, because you got to anticipate what these guys are doing, especially if you get them early in November when when they're hot, and they see you and like you're up, like the angler is up farther up, and I got the net, and they can see me, and they're trying to get away at the steelhead. That's the toughest part of being a guide to me, is that netting portion.
And you got to keep them wet.
You got it. You can't screw up.
It's got to be safe, perfect handling. You got to keep them wet, and it's difficult to not just say, just let it come out of the water a little bit, and you can sneak it in.
You can't
do that.
Bank it.
No,
we're not banking it. We're going to get it into the net and make sure this thing's okay and send them back. And
but there's a lot of nausea that happens when these guys are catching great fish, and you're like, oh, okay, here it is. I'm coming up. But no, worst Father's Day ever. Never forget that one.
Yeah, missing a fish. We've all had those moments. I know Yilma got a muskie once, and didn't your buddy?
Did you?
Nice. Yeah, same thing happened with the muskie, but it was on a spinning. It wasn't. Yeah.
But he netted
that count?
it.
In my books, it does, because I'm so.
I'm just kidding.
That counts.
That counts out.
Yeah. I'm tired of telling the story. It's on my Instagram.
I'll check it out.
Check it out.
What
Yeah,
happened? I don't know.
Yeah. All those have heard this
Tell
story.
it.
None of us have heard the story.
Tell it, Yilma.
we were on Head Lake. It's a very nice, very good musky lake, and I was spinning using a Rapala, and we were trolling.
It's Rapala.
Actually, that is the best lure of the world. Is the Rapala.
Yeah.
Gold, to me, it's the gold and black one. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think. I have a picture of it, and the hooks are all bent out of shape, of course, right? I didn't have a leader on. I just was like, whatever, if I catch something, I catch something. And we were hungover, so it was one of those like relaxing trolling moments. And all of a sudden, just a huge tug, and like a tug that I've never felt before. And I was trolling. So imagine if I wasn't, how powerful that tug would have been. And maybe 10, 15 minutes, it was fighting this thing, and my friend comes in with his net and knocks the Rapala off the mouth, and
Brutal.
That's so sad.
Mitch, why did you do that, man?
Exactly. There's like video of it too, right?
Yeah, there's video.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, there's video on my Instagram. There's video of the lure broken in half. But
it happens though, right?
I've never heard somebody apologize so profusely in my entire life. Over and over again, bought me beers, and to the point where he's hugging me when I was like, no, stop. But
Oh, are you? I was almost in tears.
The
I'm so
was-
sorry.
Yeah, but I'm a nice guy, so I didn't really get bent out of shape. But anyways, that's the story.
sort of.
Yeah, but sort of deep down.
I think everybody's got one of those though.
Yeah.
The loss of the fish.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
Never lost any.
I lost a tarpon this. Only hooked one this trip, and I'm 0 for 14 now for tarpon.
Oh god!
And mind you, 12 of them have been at a kayak, and you're in the mangroves, and you're it's
I can't
30
imagine
feet
doing that.
It's only 30 feet wide, and you hook this 60-pound tarpon.
Oh man!
And you don't have
Kayak.
your stoppage power because you're in a kayak, and every time
It's towing you.
Yeah.
basically, especially that first initial hit when they do that head shake, they come out of the water, and your kayak is just gone. Like it just goes with them.
Crazy. Yeah, you just got back from a trip, eh? Like a big trip down south.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've been heading down to Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, so Sanibel, Pine Island, and that's really where I've been doing all my saltwater.
Nice.
And
How often do you get down?
Quite a bit.
They'll come back for a week and then leave again.
Once guiding season's over, then I'm lucky. My lovely wife is she's a bookkeeper, but she's big into working whatever it means in the cloud.
Right. Yeah.
So and that's her expertise. So in the cloud, on the cloud, up the cloud, I don't know what it is, but so she can work quite remote.
Yeah.
And for myself, obviously, I'm talking to corporate people, so I can do that anywhere and trying to get them to book and guide. So and Pine Island is phenomenal. It's known for its tarpon, It's known for its reds, its snook, and big jacks, like big Jack Crevalles. The Jack Crevalles are so underrated. They are just tanks. They're like what giant trevally, great trevally, those big, you've seen those things. So it's like that smaller version of that. But when if you get like a 10, 15 pound trevally coming after your fly, it's just there's nothing like it.
They're not small.
No, but like small in the salt world, right?
Yeah, well, it's small in the, I guess
Smaller.
small in the salt world. But the thing is, when you're there, and
Look at that thing; it's huge. We're just looking at a picture.
Forced
of it.
perspective, but yeah, it's big.
Yeah, big fish.
when you're,
Still pretty big.
it's pretty good. And we usually head up. I usually head up to this place called Bokeelia.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool little spot, and on Pine Island, like top of Pine Island. So you can actually walk there. You can actually go to Florida or the area where I go, and I know it really well. You can do it really cheaply. And because guides, they're so expensive.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
It's just insane how expensive they are.
Yeah, exactly. Why would anybody take a guide?
Wait a minute, I'm a guy.
Wait a minute. Did I just say, is that my outdoor voice? But you can do it pretty inexpensively there, and that's where I hooked the last tarpon.
Yeah.
They were just starting to roll in when we were starting to come back, of course. But I was probably waist deep, and I had just seen probably about an 8-foot hammerhead shark. And whiz by, and it didn't even look at me. Like it was on a mission.
Jesus
but
Christ.
oh man, did I run?
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm sure actually what you've mentioned is that you screamed like a little girl and jumped
that was a couple
6
times
feet
before,
out
yeah.
of the water.
That was the other shark.
that was the other
one.
time. Yeah,
That's unreal.
yeah. It's there's so many shark.
Yeah.
In that area, in that Sanibel Island, lots of dolphin, just lots of fish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's but the tarpon are now starting to roll in, and I always miss it because I'm guiding, which is great.
Right.
I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But
Alex, do you get to go to the salt?
I haven't yet. It's one thing. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm a little nervous. Getting into some of those areas waist deep and those giant trevally. Holy crap! It's crazy, but I can't wait. So I'm hoping this is the year. I haven't done much traveling. My family lives in North Carolina, and we also have a lake house in Virginia. So I'm going to be heading down there and actually doing like searching for some of the river systems down there. There's a couple of people that I've connected with on Instagram who are guides there. So it's just fantastic. But yeah, I'd love to work my way down there. And I was supposed to actually go to Cuba a couple weeks ago, but ended up needing to stay here just to work the flats and see what I could do just by myself. So yeah, I mean, hopefully soon. If you guys want to take a trip, I'm tagging along.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to get down to like we said, we might try and get to Florida for September as like a small window of opportunity, or maybe even Belize. Right, Yelmer?
Saving my vacation days.
Belize is the place. Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that? I swear to God,
Because you know a guy in Belize.
He's gonna be hooked.
Not yet, but
Ever since that website.
we're trying to get down there because it looks unreal. I mean, it's like one of those fly fishing destinations, right? Like, have you ever been to Belize fishing?
No, I've got a lot of buddies that have gone, and I gotta go. I gotta get there. And,
I would love to stick a permit, especially before Rob.
well, exactly. Poor Rob.
Can you just the fight begins?
Not poor Rob. He did pretty well being where he was, but
Yeah. He's just Rob's caught every fish on the planet except a permit. And
I know. I
it's
saw
driving
those
him insane.
posts on
It's kind of
Facebook.
funny,
He was
actually.
like counting down. Like, I'm gonna get. Like, I guess he was on his trip to Mexico or something.
Yeah.
Well, bring him to Belize with us.
Yeah.
True.
Come on in.
Can you bring Rob to Belize?
We're all
kidding.
going
Bring
there.
him.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun, actually.
Yeah, he had bad luck, didn't he? As in, not bad luck with fishing, but the boat broke down.
Yeah. The last day, the boat broke down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I think the guide was like, "Hey, do you have any tools on you?"
No.
And he's like, "No." Yes, I brought my motor maintenance kit.
exactly.
What was the story
This is
behind
exactly what I'm
that?
looking
He was
for.
just like out and it just conked out.
Something about the end. The outboard.
Yeah, his guide. I guess the boat broke down, but he didn't have any tools to fix it.
Jesus,
I know.
that's pretty brutal.
That's an expensive problem
Yeah.
for Rob.
Yeah. Totally.
Exactly,
Yeah, exactly.
And then being asked to help fix it. So, yeah, great.
September a good time to go down to Florida for fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Actually, November is really good also. We head down in November or October, just before, in between the steelhead season, really when it really starts to gear up.
Yeah.
Because November to me really is the time
Yeah.
for steelheading. A lot of people try to book in October.
Right.
Early October or whatever, and there may be one or two. The Grand River down in Paris, it's a little bit of an earlier run. But the big heads and the beaver, not the beaver because the beaver closes, but the Maitlands and the Saugeen, they're a little bit later.
Yeah.
So you're really working Chinooks.
Yeah. The big head was we were on the big head in November. And we did really well that day. Yeah.
But getting back to your question, November, October, November is just beautiful months in Florida and lots of fish.
Lots
the reds are happy to be redfish are happy and doing their thing. And
redfish I've been just so stoked on redfish.
That's
lately.
like your fish.
Yeah, I just really want to catch a redfish. I don't know why, they're just so amazing looking.
They are. They're really
They're
cool. And
super
actually, all you need is there's some really cool flies also. But the clouser fly with the bleeding black material. It's Rob's got that at his shop. It's like a black with some red fleck through it.
Yeah.
And make a clouser with that on the top and gray on the bottom. That just rocks.
It's dynamite. Eh?
Yeah. When they're on.
Noted.
Yeah, that one works well.
What are you looking for? Sorry, Mitch.
Yeah, no,
what are you looking for in terms of structure? Like, when you're on the river, you're like, okay, so I can see some splashes on the rocks. I can see that maybe there's fish there. What do you do in saltwater?
Saltwater, you look, especially for redfish, you're looking for oyster beds.
Right.
So, and those are they're just a clump of oysters. And as the tide goes down, these oyster beds, you can start seeing them. They're like little islands.
Yeah.
And then the reds are hanging out, working the shrimp and the whatever they're eating in the little crustaceans or whatever in those oyster beds, and those are the best things. And the snook, they love any kind of structure, pylons, bridges or anything like that. Which they're a pain in the butt because they're an awesome fish to catch. Lots of power. They're kind of between a steelhead and a smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
And they run, they jump, they tug, they don't stop if you get a really nice one, but they wrap themselves around the pillars all the time. They're so smart. So you got to once you get them, you got to tug them out of the dock systems.
Run and tangle you?
Oh yeah. And they're so smart that way. I've lost so many this year to the pillars.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they're cool. Look, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they got that black stripe down the side, and almost like a glass mouth.
Yeah.
And they can be finicky.
Yeah,
they can be finicky. But that fly for the reds, that clouser works well.
Looks like we're all taking a vacation.
I know, man. I just want to go fish redfish for some reason. What's the take like on a red? Like, how do they hit?
Boom.
Just smoke them, man.
Yeah, boom. And where you want to go is Louisiana.
Yeah,
that's where the big bulls are. Oh. And I don't know when that is. I don't know if that's coming up in the springtime or if it's the fall, but I know a couple of guys down there, and the big bull reds are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they're just, but the take is awesome because they take it, head shake. There's no out of the water with them. They just run.
Yeah.
And
it's unreal.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Saltwater's a whole other thing.
Saltwater's fun, but you know what? You get into freshwater, and everybody asks me what my favorite fish is, and of course, steelhead are awesome, but and they are the ultimate freshwater for us in Ontario. But again, a 5 pound, 4.5 pound smallie is my pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all big smallmouth bass fans. Mitch and I grew up in Ottawa, the Ottawa region, fishing smallmouth bass. And on the fly, and we just don't understand why people don't like them.
Oh man,
or
I don't know.
Maybe not, I think people like them, but it's not like
it's like an underrated thing. It's like you don't often hear people so excited oh, I'm going fishing for smallmouth. This is gonna be crazy, Like people talk about trout opener like that, steelhead,
exactly.
But smallmouth bass, it's like, dude, man, I've had days where it's like this is crazy, fishing late at night and the water's really calm and they're just smoking frogs or something, and you're just and they're 4 or 5 pound bass, and you're just like, this is crazy.
It's crazy, and especially because you can stock them, as in just like you're bone fishing for these things, because they like the shallow back. Remember I was saying those back areas? They like those shallow back spots or end of pools.
Yeah.
Right.
And a nice little crayfish pattern or
it's super fun watching and finding them, right? But it's wild. I mean, we'll take out some clients and we'll get 50 sometimes. It's just like, oh my gosh,
unreal.
One after the other, and
that's awesome.
It's obviously you're screaming set, as much as you can, but so it's wild when people really start to see, oh, these are powerful fish.
Oh yeah.
And they get old. 25, 20, 30 almost, you know,
25
just
years old, some of these things,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
and some of them are damaged, like, you know, that you can see the
Oh, yeah, you can
talons
see
from the
the
eagles or the
one eye or
ospreys and
whatever. Like,
Yeah, they're like big
age,
bruisers, you know.
Yeah,
they've
big
seen some
hogs.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely wild, you know, and they look a little prehistoric as well, you know, with their fins there, not like a carp, but
Yeah.
it's I love it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're definitely a
underrated.
bass guy,
I'm a bass guy, yeah.
big time.
I think
I'm a bass guy too.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of people, especially with that, say, well, you know, in the summertime, like mid-July or August, and they want to go trout fishing, and I'm thinking, well, you're going to hurt the trout.
Yeah.
So why don't we go smallie? Why don't we go get some smallies? And they'll say, well, okay. But once they hit 4 or 5 smaller ones, they're going, oh, okay, this is fun. But then you can finally even get someone into that bigger style.
Yeah.
The bigger version.
Yeah.
Then they're
arms
hooked.
hurting.
Then they're hooked for life. I mean, it's just
definitely.
it's
And it's like says like it's like nothing better in the summer. Like bass fishing in the summer is like such a summer experience, you know. Like like largemouth fishing, and it's like it's really hot out, and you're just like fishing like lily pads.
It's like you said, you grab your running shoes and your bathing suit, and you're like
all day.
Yeah.
Those are some of my best memories fly fishing, you know.
Jam
Like
your
fly
fly box
fishing
in the pocket. And
summer.
you're like,
I'm with you. Exactly. That's when if I can get Alyx out, if she's not busy, and I'll just head to the matey and just wander.
They're the best days.
Yeah.
3
honestly.
flies.
would you say that's your favorite fish, Alex? If such a thing exists.
I really like browns. You
Okay.
know, I obviously steelhead are a lot of fun and doing the nymphing and whatnot. But you know, there's nothing like heading out on a hot day, you know, to the Maitland and just you can walk up and down 3 to 5 miles.
Yeah.
And just searching for these things, and you know, you can even see the suckers all around, which are kind of fun. But actually, in the drift days, drift boats are when we're out there are pretty amazing too. You know, to see the carp, and if nobody's biting, going for some carp and getting the fly down and see what happens. And holy, those things ever fight.
Yeah, totally.
You know, they're ugly as hell, but damn, they're fun.
100%.
Ugly fish need loving too.
Yeah, they do.
exactly. Oh, I remember
Goodness.
I remember it was like April, end of April or something like that, and there was like I was standing on like a bridge looking down at the river, and there was just like hundreds of like large scale sucker, or they were either large scale sucker or red horse. I can't remember.
Red horse, yeah.
Sort of silver, you know, like they had like the bumps on like their nose sort of thing, but literally like probably like thousands. Like it was ridiculous, and we just started like just throwing flies down at them just to see if they would take it, because like we were at a cottage, we're like, grab the rod, like let's see, and we ended up catching like I don't know 30, 40 of these things in like an hour. It was like, and it was so fun because they were just like huge fish and they had room to run, so they were just like, it was unreal. I was like, this is crazy, man. But you know, carp, sucker, all that stuff, I'm sort of like, carp's another thing altogether, right? Like that's starting to take off a bit more.
Oh, very much so.
Oh, yeah.
Springtime,
Do you ever get clients going like, let's go for carp?
quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
quite a
we've
bit.
got
in the
some
flats
folks-
right now coming. It is the best time to catch them.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just because of the fight? The fight's just that much more.
No, they're just hungry.
Right.
They're doing their thing and they're hungry. Whereas you get them in the midsummer, and you really got to entice them. Lots of rubber legs on your flies. They love crayfish, and you can see on some of the bridges. If you go above Fergus, and if you stand on some of the bridges and look down and see some of the size of these things, but what they do, they're just gouging into the rock, and they're looking for crays and you know, that kind of a thing. So a lot of crayfish, a lot of style, but lots of rubber legs. For some reason, they just love those things.
Yeah.
And they fight
I mean,
like
so
hell.
do so does every fish. Every fish loves rubber legs. I mean, steelhead. If you're tying on any kind of intruder or whatever type of fly that you got to have a couple rubber legs hanging off, because it's just got the movement.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. I remember one time I was on that stretch of. I was up near Fergus, and
Oh yeah,
between,
like and I think I know what you're talking about, like that huge, like flat sort of area.
I just don't know the name of the pools.
It's the place that we went, right?
Yeah,
like by the
Yeah, by the.
Yeah.
Up in Fergus, there?
Yeah, up in Fergus.
Yeah,
and there was like I remember like, you know, wading a few riffles, and there was like I was in some frog water and started seeing some fish roll, and I was like, what the hell? And then it was a huge pot of carp, and I was like, but I had a 3-weight. And I was like, well, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah.
This thing's guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's a repair fee. Like,
there you go,
$52.
$50.
Which is cool. Alex, you fish for carp yet?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been, obviously, if we're not catching some fish, and especially in the drift boat, I gotta tell you, it's just so fun, to float down the river and see these prehistoric dinosaurs just rolling with you.
Yeah.
And seeing if you can grab them. I mean, they're pretty tough, right? Like they're not an easy fish to catch. So if you get a carp, I mean, you're a happy camper.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, Gab, who's not here, swears by carp. Because
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
He loves them.
Yeah, loves them.
I would like to apologize to everyone that's listening for my weirder than usual voice. I have been inflicted by this incredible disease and infections called a man cold. So I've been MIA all week. Thanks for my team for being so supportive in this fight against sickness. Okay. Hello there, and welcome to the SoFly Breaking News. This is your host, Gabriel Bizot-Regis, recording on location today, directly from nowhere in particular. The social media internets is not cooling off just yet after the NRA claimed the brand Yeti Cooler has abandoned their support for the non-profit. Although Yeti has released a statement explaining it was revising an old and outdated discount program for the non-profit associations. Gun-crazed people and NRA fanatics immediately went up in arms on social media to share their disagreement, as well as blowing up their expensive cooler with their weapons. For our entertainment, I have gathered some of the comments found online. The author of those comments will not be shared due to present or future embarrassments. So here we go, guys. Either you support a non-profit company fighting for the Second Amendment, or you are a liberal pile of dog crap. You have to choose. So there's no choice. Okay, next comment now. Goodbye, Yeti. Your cooler will be used as target on the gun range nationwide now. And the last one, but not the shortest one, but not the less, my favorite, Yeti just started to promote an American genocide. So, cooler company adjusting their non-profit deal equal American genocide. You see the link, right? Because to me, it's pretty obvious. This is it for your break. Chantal, you fucking my shit up. Alright, this is it for your breaking news. We'll be back next month with more news and the rest of the crew to poke fun at me while doing it.
Let's jump into Mitchie's Fishies 5.
Yeah, we'll start there for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Say that 5 times fast.
Mitchie's Fishies 5. I know, it's really hard to say, isn't it? I could probably come up.
Mom, she just wants to know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's nice.
We could probably come up with a better name for the segment, but whatever, it's done now.
Mitchie's is good. I like it.
Right? Okay, cool. So yeah, 5 questions. I'll ask both of you guys. Feel free to answer. What's your favorite fish?
Oh, I love a brownie.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, big time.
It's got to be tarpon now.
Yeah?
Oh, you want saltwater? Traitor.
I know. I can't. Once you hook a tarpon and you feel the power, there is just nothing like it. I mean, I haven't held one yet.
Yeah.
So it's elusive, but
You haven't held one and it's your favorite fish.
Yeah.
That says a lot about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
When did that happen? Because that's the thing with tarpon. Like, we've had people on the show talking about tarpon before, and it's like it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, like I used to fish freshwater, but now I just like live for tarpon.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but it's, as I said, I'm 0 for 13.
Yeah.
And most of them have been in a kayak, and a couple times I thought I had a smaller one, which is probably about 45 pounds, I bet. But he ripped me right into these
in a kayak.
into the mangroves, and he went straight down the edge of them. I went straight down the edge of the mangroves, and I was all cut up. I was bloody. Man. I lost them, and but just shaking.
It's like a battle.
Let's hard pass on that.
If you don't have any stoppage power, like I need to get into a real like flats boat, but I've just been fooling around, having a blast, because there is a spot that I go to in November when we have a timeshare on Fort Myers Beach, and so I head into this one spot every year in October or end of October. I'll be sitting there in a kayak, and all you can see is rolling tarpon, and it's Shangri-La.
Yeah.
And they porpoise, right? They do.
Porpoise. They porpoise. So, and I've hooked 2 on Luigi.
Oh, no way.
I know, back to Luigi.
Amazing.
And
Right
I've
on.
hooked 2 on Luigi. But so that's my favorite fish.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I gotta be honest though, if there's any guide out there who is willing to get into situations like sitting in a kayak, hooking a 45-pound tarpon into the mangroves and
Yeah.
just getting themselves into any position for you, especially, getting into those back waters and the back pools, it's Jeff Parks. Holy
Yeah.
moly. The
That's
amount of
fun.
tumbles that we've
It's a
both
trip.
taken.
Speaking of Trip Fontaine, it's a trip.
High trip. But yes, no, it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So it's great.
Yeah, especially because you don't want to fall out of the kayak
Yeah.
because it's just you don't know what's swimming down, because there is a lot because of all the water, the fresh water that's coming down the river in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Casahoochee, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so because of the fresh water coming in from the sugar out in Lake Okeechobee,
Yeah.
there's so many more alligators now in the mangroves because it's more brackish. It's not as salt.
Yeah.
So the alligators are able to live there. So there's all these signs now saying, beware of the alligators. And I've almost tipped a couple times, and that's all I can think of. I don't even think about sharks or anything. I'm just thinking of alligators.
Oh, man, totally. Especially because they're so stealthy and freaky,
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It would
So
be
full
really-
of teeth.
Oh, my God,
full
right?
of teeth.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If you could fish anywhere in the world once, destination trip, whatever, like, where would it be?
New Zealand, 100%.
Yeah?
Gold.
Ditto.
Yeah?
I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
really it. Oh my god! Like fully, the dream would be to fish the summers in Ontario,
Yeah.
get the guiding business. I'm also a career coach in the tech industry.
Yeah.
Do that, and then spend my winters out in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right, that's the ultimate. And I'm trying to get this one out there with me to do a father-daughter family fly fishing website launch, awesome Calmwaters trip.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I feel like I gotta pull him, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
For sure.
get there. Yeah, no, I've myself also in New Zealand. It's just, I know a couple of guides there that, and actually I guided a couple of fellow, well, actually one guy from Tanzania,
Yeah.
which is, now I guess that's off of Australia, but a couple of people from New Zealand I had this year, so I was picking their brains on the browns and,
Oh man,
so
yeah.
And
and
they're
the big-
killing
big
for women
rainbows.
fly fishermen there. It's a huge industry out
In New
there as
Zealand.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the ladies, it's just they're looking for them.
Yeah.
The fish are massive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they're unbelievable.
They are massive.
scenery too, It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's like Lord of the Rings.
You know what? I'm
is.
always going to be looking out for shadow
Literally
facts.
where it was filmed.
Yeah. Literally where that movie was made. It's like fishing in Middle Earth. I've seen, we had someone come on the show, Josh on the Fly on Instagram. He came on and he was
I
fishing in
love
New
Josh
Zealand.
on the fly.
Yeah, he's super cool,
Oh,
dude.
he's the best.
And he went down there and he was like showing us pictures from his trip, and like the fish were like, dude, they were like nuts, Like, such amazing fish.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm freaking
cool.
out, man. I can't wait.
So when's that trip coming up?
It's
In a
going to
couple
be this
years.
winter.
Yeah.
Never. Oh,
He doesn't know that yet, but I'm already booking the flights.
Gotcha. Perfect.
I guess we can ask this, like, because we definitely want to hear from both of you guys on this one, but maybe start with Alyx. Like, what's your favorite or best fishing story?
Oh my gosh. I think, one of my favorites was the Father's Day fishing story. But for my own, it's gotta be my first steelhead, honestly. It's funny, I hooked two within 10 minutes of each other. The first one almost, I'm so sorry, Ilma, I'm so sorry. I hooked it on a yarn fly or nymphing, and it was just perfect, But the first one just almost blew my arm off, and it was so exciting. My heart was just exploding. It was in that moment that I thought, I'm fucking freezing. Excuse my language, but I'm freezing. It's I think it was January or end of December.
Oh, yeah.
And we're standing on the Big Head River. I had just tumbled and fallen, wrenched my knee, and I'm thinking, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna get one of these bad boys for sure.
Yeah.
First one almost knocked my arm off. Second one, my lovely father over here, oh, it might be a smaller one. It's a smaller one, and I'm like, screw you, it's not a smaller one. And then it rolled, and it just was the most beautiful chrome that I've
It
ever
was a beauty.
seen.
Nice.
And it was a perfect, perfect land.
Great net job.
Yeah.
But that's what, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect land, great net job,
to go.
and got the nice dirt off of it, and
Yeah.
honestly, it brought tears to my eyes. And again, I'm really, of course, I'm focused on the fish, and I want to get people into fish and talk about the technicalities of it. But in that moment, I felt so connected with an animal.
Yeah.
And in that moment, and it's freezing, and I'm not in my element. I'm in something else's element, and it's a totally different ecosystem out there. And I really appreciated everything. And I gotta be honest, I appreciated my father so much for being there in that moment. It was my first one that I actually landed.
Yeah,
that's a nice moment.
You know,
I'm gonna cry.
we had, but we have one of our favorite photos. I wear these terrible, green sunglasses. Yeah. My dad hates them. He's like, oh God, Alyx, I hate those glasses. But one of our favorite photos is just right after that moment. We had a perfect selfie, and it was just absolute happiness.
Yeah.
You know, and if there's anything, and especially with women in fly fishing, if there's anything that I want to do, even if these guys struggle and it's hard to get into the fish, if we're just laughing and together and feeling like, you know, this has been an amazing day and I've learned so much, you know, I'm casting into the depths. If I'm not putting out a fish, I'm pulling something out that's going to help you maybe tomorrow or for the rest of your life. So cool. That's obviously the coach in me, but that day was, it hooked me for life, pun intended.
And that does help with Alyx. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, you get your father or your daughter guiding for you and, you know, you're just giving her a chance. But the reason she is guiding for me is that she's just so good at relaying information to the customer, to the client, and that's why she's so. Thanks, I mean, she's a career coach, so she's you know within the technology, which is awesome. But when she gets on the river, you can that's the connection that you need. The guide, if a guide does not connect instantly, you know, with his client or his or her client, then it's really hard to really get them to listen to you. Yeah. So you really, you know, that's the main part of a good guide to me, is to be able to get them to relax, feel like they can just be who they want. If they want to swear, actually, it's like my Irish buddy.
Yeah.
I had a fellow a couple of years ago. Actually, we were just down the Lower Grand in Paris, and new really nice guy, probably 30ish years old, and he was casting well, but he wasn't fishing as well. Yeah. And so I'm trying to get him to get the fly down. It was just smallies. It was July, say 8th or something like that, and we're in Paris, and he hasn't hooked anything. Yeah. And he, you know, we're just chatting, and he's being kind of professional with me, I guess, or whatever. I'm being, you know, very nice and whatever. And so I'm telling him, I said, okay, to get this fly down with bass, you're strip twitching your fly. You can't do that. You gotta tip twitch. Yeah. You gotta use your tip of your rod, wait a couple seconds, and then twitch it, and then give it a little bit of a movement that way, because that seems to get a better movement in the fly. Yeah, so we finally started doing that, and then he hits this fish. Yeah. And it came out of the water. It was about maybe 3.5 pound smallie, just a beautiful fish. And I'll call him Bob because I won't say his name. And I'll say, "Fuck, Bob, you got one! Awesome!" And he stopped. This guy is Irish, and he stops, and he's fighting the fish. He's not even looking at the fish. He's got the rod up in the air. He's looking at me, and he says, "You fucking swear? That's fucking awesome! I'm trying not to fucking swear all fucking day. You fucking swear!" And from that day on, from the next 2 hours, it was the F word, this and that and that. But just the way he said it, he's got the rod up. He's not even looking at the fish, and you'll fucking swear, man. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Amazing.
So, and then just a quick one also. It was about, I think, a week after that, I was on the drift boat, and we were going Paris down to Brantford, and I had a CEO from California, and so he was in the front, and this other guy was probably like 50 years old, the sales guy. Yeah. And the guy in the front, the CEO guy, he looks at me just as we shove off. He says, "Hey, do you mind if I smoke a spliff?" Yeah. And
I still call it that.
I guess. Sorry, I guess
I
that's
still
an
call
old
it
way.
that. That's what it is.
Is that the old way of saying
name.
it?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. Just killing a dude.
Anyway, he says, "Do you mind if I get high?" I said, "No, I don't care. You know, better that than having someone drink booze on the boat, because booze gets anyway.
It gets
whatever." I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And so he smokes, and he probably took maybe 3 casts. Then after that, he just sat down and he didn't fish once. And this is the CEO of this big company, and he just sat there, and he must have probably got high. He probably smoked about, I don't know, 5 or 6 joints out there. And just had a great time.
Just chilling, yeah.
Yeah. So, but why not?
People do.
I mean, why not? Yeah. But it's just he didn't even fish.
Yeah. Just wanted to hang out.
Just take me for a ride.
But I guess that would lead us to our next question too, which is just describe your best day ever fishing. Like, if you can ever recall, just one of those days you got a lot of fish, or the weather was right, or you just had fun. Like, what's the story behind that?
Actually, mine is, again, with her.
How was mine's with you too?
Yeah, and we were on the Métis, I think it was last year, and it was not a sunny day.
That's what it was raining. Almost
It was raining, that rainy day? Yeah.
It was just amazing. Yeah.
That was
going.
a father-daughter day.
Yeah.
It was. Oh man, it was raining. We were thinking, maybe we won't go. But let's go. So we ended up going, and it was one of those kind of misty, foggy July, because last year was cold.
Yeah.
For summer and whatever, and the bass were a little bit tougher because they were chilly. Yeah. But oh man, we just killed it that day. But it was just such a one of those days that I for some reason always like. She must have caught I don't know how many beauties. I caught a few beauties. It was just a phenomenal day.
But it was just tossing them back and forth, and we were there for each other. It was like it was definitely a daddy-daughter day, but a couple moments in there with just really working well off each other.
Yeah.
And I think what we're gonna actually I don't think at the Grand Opportunities June 6th I think it is up in Fergus we're going to be doing a presentation together on the river presentation on how to get your kids into fishing. Because if I could give any father or mother with their son or their daughter the same day that Alyx and I had that day last year, that would be what a gift I could give. Mm-hmm. And if I could get people to enjoy that, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
really awesome. It was great, and I'd really actually like to start doing a lot with with youth, and seeing if we can engage them a little bit, and I think there's a lot coming up in that realm too for Calmwaters, which is fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, best day ever.
That sounds like a good day.
Mm-hmm.
What's your this is the last of Mitchie's Fishies 5. What's your favorite?
I mean 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 5.
Question number 5.
Question number 5.
What's your favorite thing about fly fishing?
Favorite thing? Oh my God, there's so many.
Wow.
This is a hard one, Mitch.
I know. Well, it's Mitchie's Fishies 5.
This is hard hitting
We're not
journalism
fucking around here.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Actually, probably my favorite thing is the destination. I guess it's the whole thing, but and I think I wrote a blog on this. But it's getting up in the morning, it's getting in the car, grabbing the coffee, and I love a long drive. If I only got maybe 10 minutes to the river, that's great. But if I got an hour and a half or 2 hours to say the Big Head or whatever, throw some tunes on, whatever, coffee, thinking about it. You've already thought about what you've packed or what you're going to use. Mm-hmm. You get to the river, and maybe if you don't catch anything, you still see everything. Like you're just part of the river. You're part of you can feel the wind. I know that sounds so stupid, but you can just feel it all. You can hear it all. I never wear I never have any music, any headphones, because I don't want to hear that.
No, neither.
Yeah, I want to hear the sounds of sounds of whatever is out there. Mm-hmm. And it's just the whole day of it is what I like.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I just love, and this might sound a little strange, but I have a bit of a ritual where whenever I walk into or greet a river, I have to bend down and let it run through my fingers and just say hello, and it's one of those moments where I think, I'm here to play with you, mm-hmm. kind of a thing,
It's a blessing.
Let's be okay with each other. Yeah, and people
you
really
wonder where she got that from.
Not this guy. 100%, right? We're very, very similar that way in terms of, I don't think I'll ever say my favorite part of fly fishing is like landing a huge fish. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's amazing, but it's just it's a bonus, and being able to say hello and actually putting myself in a situation where there's unbelievable power around me, mm-hmm. and life is the most important thing I think anybody could have. And so a lot of this and a lot of my teachings is going to be around appreciating the hell out of your surroundings, because you never know when it might disappear.
Totally.
And conservation is incredibly important. We want to make sure that keep them wet, mm-hmm. keep them safe, and make sure their banks are clean, and Drift is doing the cleanup, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I would really suggest everybody do that.
Mm-hmm.
When does that finish?
July 8th. So yeah, if you can make it down to the shop, we're doing a river cleanup contest. It's a contest.
Yeah, totally. Contest.
Yeah. So what it is you can pick up a little kit, and there's a garbage bag in it with a number, and you take a picture of you fill up the garbage bag with garbage that you find on the riverbank or lake or water, wherever you're fishing. Take a picture with it and send it to info@driftoutfitters.com. If you can't make it in a town or you're not from Ontario or the Toronto region, that's cool. Just email us at info@driftoutfitters.com. We'll give you a little code, and then you can submit your photo that way. Cool. And if you get entered into a raffle or a draw to win an Echo prize pack. It's actually pretty sweet. It's a trip rod. A trip rod is like a 7-piece travel rod.
Nice.
Weight of your choosing. Like so it could be like for going down to the salt, perfect for the plane. So like an 8 weight, or like a trip travel like trout rod. Yeah, great rods. Good backpacking rods too. An Echo reel and an airflow line. All size matched, whatever you want.
Pick up trash, get some gold.
Yeah.
And it's Canada only right now, right?
It's Canada only. Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future we can figure out a way to involve our friends abroad, but right now it's a Canada.
Right on.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. But it's awesome because I think a lot of people do. I see a lot of my friends or people that come through the shop. You guys, I think people do try to clean up when they can.
Oh yeah.
But this is a good way to show how much that's actually happening.
Yeah.
And needs to happen.
It's our own
Yeah.
Drift Outfitters' own Earth Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So that goes to July 8th, which is cool.
So what do you guys want to leave people with in terms of Calmwaters? You guys got some stuff coming out?
Yeah, we got a new website actually that's coming out, and Alyx, I'll let you talk because Alyx is the leader, the tech leader in all this, especially for
I'm
what
the tech
you work
leader.
at.
Actually, no, I'm super lucky to work in the tech industry, and I was also trained as a UX designer, but we've gone ahead and are I wouldn't say rebranding, but we've done a total redesign of our website. So it's slick, it's clean. We've got some amazing photos up there from our corporate days, as well as our Learn to Fly Fish. So definitely in the next probably week or two, it's going to be live. And
what's the URL?
It is calmwatersflyfishing.ca. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Actually, it's going to look really good. And lots of stuff happening. I mean, as you know, obviously we have our Women's and Fly Fishing Day that Alyx is heading up, and that's May 12th. So if there's any other ladies who'd be interested in signing up, try to sign up as soon as you can because we'd like to keep it.
How can people sign up?
Eventbrite.
Yeah, so there's an Eventbrite link. It's actually attached to my Instagram as well. And you can find me at Ontario Fly Girl, or you can reach out at calmwatersflyfishing.ca.
And it's also on the Drift Outfitters page.
Event page,
on their education page, so that's good. And just lots
have,
of what we also all do is we do corporate days or whatever. But if anybody wants to learn, and again, we talked about how some guys are upset that we're focusing on women and not focusing on men. We're focusing on everybody, obviously. Like that's not even a question. But if anybody really wants to get into Learn to Fly Fishing, with regards to that, we really do have one. Of course, I'm going to say we have one of the best or the best. Everybody has a great education day that they have for people, but Calmwaters really does. As you sort of you see who we are, what we like of the river. I mean, Alyx loves to touch the river each time she gets into it. We put this into everybody's psyche also. It's not just about casting and technical. You need to begin to dance a little bit with the with not only the fish, with not only the fly rod, but also with the whole environment. So we really give it a different approach to getting people into fish. And or enjoying their day, and that's not and other people who are expert. We go anywhere from learn to fly fish to expert.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, actually, we've also got a yoga and fly fishing day coming up as well.
Right, we've got the yoga fly fishing day.
What's that?
What is that? What's that about? Yeah, holy moly! How could I forget? Martin and Dory are going to kill me. So we have we just got so many things going on, but it is a yoga studio, and again, you can Isadora is it's her shop. And that's in Stouffville. But what we're doing on June 10th, Isadora, again, she is just an incredible yoga instructor to the point where she loves, yoga. You know, the breathing exercises, the stretching exercises, and they're incorporating the whole fly fishing, learn to fly fishing day with yoga stretches. They begin with the yoga. In the middle, they do a little bit of yoga within where we are up in Fergus, and at the end also. So you're learning yoga to do what yogaites do. I'm not a yoga guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take
No,
over.
but so this is the thing. I've been telling Mitch and his uncle this all the time. I do Pilates, and there's a direct correlation with like being on the river and doing these core workouts.
You got it.
Yeah.
And it's so beneficial. Or otherwise, my back would be killing me on the river all the time.
Yep.
Right.
So-
Well, and that's the
Absolutely.
thing. I mean, standing in the river for 8 hours a day is going to kill
Difficult.
your lower back, and that's
for
where yoga and Pilates and everything is going to come in and help those strengthen those muscles and release the tension
Yep.
and that whole bit. So we're putting that together, and so that again you can on our site or Drift Outfitters site. Or Isadora's, I think the Stouffville site, you'll be able to sign up on that.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
Yeah, no, super
Makes so much
excited.
sense.
Going to do
That's
some
super excited on that
dryland
one.
training, some nice breathing practices and yoga, and just get them on the water and see how we flow. But I can't wait.
Yeah.
yeah,
I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good
Stouffville
summer.
Yoga Life.
Right.
Yeah.
.com. Fly fishing and yoga day retreat. That sounds so
they're awesome.
cool.
It's gonna be great.
Oh, Alex, that's you.
It is. Yep, I will be there. I'll be head guide.
That is a picture of you. Cool.
Which one is it? Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, right on. Cool.
awesome.
Yeah, really excited.
No, and I'm not trying to stop the interview, but
No, it's all good.
okay, but
we're rolling up.
we just want to say thanks.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Oh, we
guys.
No, we're thankful.
yeah.
We
Thanks
appreciate
for making the
it.
trip
Yeah,
down and
absolutely.
taking the time. And
I'm
it's a
excited to go
beautiful-
fishing with you too.
Yeah.
Super
So we're gonna make
excited.
that happen, right? We're
Yep.
gonna go fishing again.
I need that.
Yeah, we
I
are.
need
You
that.
booked that day,
I need that
it's-
Luigi fly, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe maybe he's gonna come up.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, we're totally gonna get out. And guys, like, thank you so much for coming on. Like, it was really good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Really
Yeah, it
fun.
was great.
It's gonna be a good summer, and that's it for me, Mitch. Yilma,
Yeah, see you guys.
Aldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for us. You can find us at on our socials at the SoFly Crew. You can find us if you have any questions. You can always email us at the SoFlyCrew@gmail.com. And yeah, thanks so much for doing this, Jeff and Alex. And
Awesome.
yeah, trout opener is a week away, guys.
I know.
Can't wait.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, let's
Catch
have
and
fun.
release.
Yeah, happy fishing, everybody.
Happy fishing.
Happy fishing, everybody.
Be fishing.
All right.
Thank you.